Hey, hey! Welcome to the first ever Coffee with Katie. Now, bear with me. This is also my first time going live on multiple platforms on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So, bear with me. I'm trying to figure out everything. There we go. Awesome. All right. Well, welcome to the first ever Coffee with Katie live stream. A little bit about me. I am Katie Thompson. I am an artist, a writer, and an advocate, and I live outside of Charleston, South Carolina. I am a wife to a wonderful man, Joseph Thompson. He is a furniture maker and a teacher. He is instructor at the Charleston Woodworking School. So needless to say, we're both very creative, very passionate about what we do. And then also, I'm a meningitis and spinal cord injury survivor. I am in one of my wheelchairs today because it's my most comfortable chair. So that's what I'm coming with. And I'm also in my brand new studio, and you can't see it, but the floors still need to be done, but everything else is pretty much done. So I had to kick off my first live stream here with you guys in my new studio. So a little bit more about me. I'm the creator of the Women of Woodworking project. I started that project in 2015 as a writer and a woodworker and a woman in the industry. I found it really hard to not just find other women woodworkers out there. I was becoming more aware of how robust the woodworking community and how diverse it really was at that point, thanks to social media. But a huge problem for me were all the misconceptions that people had about women in woodworking, mostly the public. And if you look through history, I've worked with some historians, some women woodworkers were part of dynamic duos, through mid-century modern movement and all of that. And some of the founders of woodworking are women. And it never felt like they really got their due, especially at the time that I started woodworking. It was like in 2010. So at that point, I felt like, these stories are here. These women and gender nonconforming makers exist. They're making fantastic work. They're teaching. They're founding organizations. They're making real change here, and I want to share these stories. So I've pitched a couple of magazines, and I've written an article here and there for Popular Woodworking and some other magazines focused on women in the craft. But really, I just started interviews and posting them on my blog and on our Instagram account at Women of Woodworking. And the community just really embraced it. And for years, I was just interviewing whoever was willing to talk to me, posting, writing in my free time. But the community was really gathering momentum around this idea of women becoming leaders in contemporary woodworking, contemporary craft. And the Making a Seat at the Table exhibition opened right before the pandemic. And that was a really tangible way of marking that transition in the craft, I feel like. And that was also a very interesting time because of the pandemic. And all of a sudden, we weren't able to have that physical interaction and meeting in person. So I started doing a weekly live stream for Women of Woodworking. I just hopped on one night and was like, hey, we're stuck at home. I still want to talk to you guys. I'm bored. I'm stuck in the house, as all of us are. Who's out there? And one of my mentors, one of the women who I am just so grateful for and look up to, and I'm so fortunate to have known her, Mary May, hopped on. She hopped on my first live stream, and I should have known. She is the queen of live streams. If you don't know Mary May, she is a world-class wood carver, and she has an online wood carving school that you should absolutely check out. But anyways, that kind of kick-started the live stream series. And I can honestly say that my life has been changed by live streaming. Doing that interview series, it helped connect me and the community with makers and women from all over the world, and seeing that there were so many other people out there doing what we were doing, and also looking for community and connection. It was really beautiful, and it eventually blossomed into a wonderful relationship with a nonprofit that I hold very near and dear to my heart, the Furniture Society. And we started doing Women of Woodworking programming together. They became programming partners. We did affinity groups. We have had interviews and shop tours and studio tours and all kinds of, we've even had an in-person meetup at our last conference. And they've just been really wonderful in helping me produce the type of programming that I and the community wants and needs. And they've been so responsive and just really wonderful. So, and it brings me to here today. My blog has now, through the project, it's been highlighted in the New York Times. I get to work with some really wonderful partners. I've gotten to interview hundreds of amazing women and gender nonconforming woodworkers, and it just keeps going. So that's, in short, a little bit how live streaming has changed my life, and how my own, humble interview series on my blog has grown into so much more than I ever could have imagined. So gotta take a coffee break. It is Coffee with Katie. So today I tried to make a little caramel latte situation. I'm not really tasting a whole lot of the caramel, so just a latte. But anyways, I am a board trustee for the Furniture Society, and I'm just really grateful for that community and the woodworking community as a whole. That same year that I started the Women of Woodworking project, I started getting more into writing also because we were looking to expand our family, and I have some health challenges. So I was like, let me shift gears a little bit. Let's do some admin work. Let's do some writing. Let's not work with toxic chemicals and epoxy and dangerous things while we're, pregnant. Not that women shouldn't. I just don't trust myself. So in that time, I decided to go ahead and accomplish a lifelong dream of publishing a children's woodworking book. I self-published a little illustrated book for young kids called Little Beaver Builds a Bed, and I got to partner with Kristen Selecki, who is an amazing illustrator and storyteller in her own right. And so I developed the book idea, we worked together on the design, and I launched a Kickstarter. And through very generous backers and sponsors, I was able to bring that book to life. And I was actually able, the day we brought our son home from the hospital was the day that my first proof copy arrived. And that was just perfect timing, so much coming together, which brings me to another element of who I am and all that encompasses me. I am an intuitive. I won't say that I'm a psychic or anything like that. I lucid dream quite frequently, and I'm, pretty spiritual. So I will be touching on some of those topics now and again, but it's just part of who I am, my passion for storytelling, and is really just kind of the glue that connects me all together. I am really passionate about my relationship with God. I'm really passionate with my relationship with spirit, through nature, through writing, lots of prayer. And it's just a really interesting time for me. I was raised to believe certain things, and there are certain things that I believe in, and then there are other things that I've learned. And it's just been a real unique experience getting to figure things out for yourself. And I've gotten to meet some amazing people who have some incredible skills that you just get to a point in your life and you've experienced so much, like, I can't deny that there's something else out there. I can't deny that there's a higher power, because if it were up to me, I would probably, I'd be gone by now. Somebody's definitely looking out for me. And I'm just very fortunate, all that I've been through, like, yes, it's been really hard, but to be able to have that just grasp on my faith at a young age. It's not always perfect. Definitely not perfect, but I'm very grateful for it. So that's just another part of who I am. I'm also a big nerd. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a big Disney fan. I'm a big history nerd. I love archaeology. Right now, I'm really hyper fixated on just like certain YouTube video genres, and just learning about different Civil War battles and things like that. You know, you as an adult get a refreshed view on history, and I'm learning so much as an adult. So those are kind of my nerdy interests there. I love to bake. I love to create. And I love being out in nature. I love being with my family. I have two wonderful children, Hamilton and Madeline, and just being a mom. It's one of those things you just can't describe. And I hate to be one of those people. It's like you have to be a mom to know. But for me, I can't even put it into words. So I don't feel like I have a right to tell anyone else what the maternal experience should be. But for me, it's been fantastic, and I'm very grateful. So I'm planning to stream, I'm hoping, at least once a week at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, at least through the next 2 months, at least through summer. That may change as the school year arrives and meetings are scheduled and dance classes and yada yada. But after seeing how the Women of Woodworking Project, has, like you said, literally changed my life, I just felt the need, and I've been wanting to for a long time, to start kind of a general live stream. Growing up, I wanted to be a radio DJ, believe it or not. And that might be dating me a little bit, because people are probably like, what are the radio DJs? Because everybody just listens to iTunes and Spotify. But they have some great shows, though, I will say. But that was what I wanted to be. So I've always kind of, dreamt of having my own show or having my own little bit. I love social media because it does give you your own little platform. And I have been very fortunate to work with some of the most amazing organizations and brands and people through social media. But I have yet to, I feel like, solidly tell my story on my own. So this is part of it. And, I love videos, but I feel like there's just a certain casualness to streaming that I feel like suits me and my personality better. Sometimes I feel like I come off as a little too newscastery in some of my videos, or instructor. So let's just hang. So I hope it's not too loud. I have my fan going. Some project updates. I have a lot going on, as I always do. So the big news here at the house is that we have been adding some accessible additions to the house to better accommodate me and my changing abilities. It can change day to day what I'm able to do, but there also seems to be an overall progression to things that we just time to prepare for. And so that's been taking up a lot of our time. It has just been one of those things, one after the other. But I'm just very grateful and trying to stay as patient as I can. This is not the biggest studio I've ever had, but I am so in love with it. It already feels so much like home. And I love the color. It makes me really happy. I can't wait to decorate it. So that's been a big thing that we've been working on. And I also have published my first poetry zine. So I wrote my first poetry zine, Black Swamp Poetry Zine. I plan to only have 24 copies, and was all set to go, approved my proof, and then had some shipping damage come in. So if you've already purchased one, I promise that it is coming very soon. I just couldn't send something dog-eared. I'm just a little bit of a perfectionist, and I want to make sure that people get something that's fully representative of me. So those reprints are coming in soon, and as soon as they come in, I'll be shipping them out. But so I'll have 24 official copies. I'll probably have 24 extras. I'm probably going to maybe donate to my local library or something like that. I'm not sure what I'll do. Maybe I'll do a collage or some sort of art project with it, but who knows? But I also have digital copies available, and as well as the print copies on my website at blackswamp.co, or you can go to ktthompson.com, and that will link you to my shop as well. But yeah, this poetry zine has poems and reflections and images that I felt like really described my coming of age as a young woman with disability and chronic illness and chronic pain. While that time was and is still very isolating, I feel like I've been very fortunate to find a way to kind of filter through that and use that absence as energy, if that makes sense. That presence of loneliness as energy to create and transmute it into something better. So I'm super proud of this. I am planning on sharing some poems throughout Disability Pride Month. That is next month, July. So stay tuned. Or if you'd like to purchase a copy, like I said, there's only going to be 24 that I think I'm going to sell. And they're $10 each, and that includes postage to anywhere in the domestic United States. But support disabled poets, support independent poetry and independent writers, and I'm so proud of it. And the gardenia is really special to me. It's something that really signifies this time of year for me because they are literally blooming right now, and they're my favorite. So other things that I have going on. Let me take a sip. How are we doing? So other things that I'm working on, the Furniture Society, they are having, well, I say they, we are having our biannual conference this week in Syracuse, New York. And unfortunately, I'm just not solid enough to travel independently after I've had a progression of some muscle weakness. So working really hard in PT, but sad to miss this year, but it's going to be fantastic. And I have had the great fortune to interview a couple of women and gender nonconforming woodworkers that will be presenting, either doing demos or panels at the conference. And I did that for the Furniture Society, and you can see those at their Instagram account or at Women of Woodworking. And I got to talk to Abby Mechanic, who I got to do a spoon class with at Charleston Woodworking School a few years ago, and she's also our new board president. Fantastic, wonderful artist, wonderful person. I'm just very grateful to have her in leadership. She has it together. I also got to talk to Allison Samuels and Katie Hudnall, who are both just incredible artists that talk a lot about queer issues and being, in a space as a queer maker. And both of their work is just, I love it so much personally. It was fantastic to get to talk to them and to Katie again. And then I also got to talk to two new artists that I hadn't had the chance to. That was Teresa Ade and Emma Senft. So go back and watch those interviews. They're 15, 20 minutes. They were little lunch lives, quickies. And it was just really enjoyable to get to see how the Furniture Society and that community has fostered growth in individuals, and then also has been a part of a greater movement of energy, I feel like, within the craft. And the topics that some of these folks were presenting on are just really powerful, and I'm grateful to the Furniture Society for providing them that platform. I'm grateful to the presenters for talking about these hard topics, and just very proud to be a part of that community, and I will miss them. So if you haven't heard of the Furniture Society, they are my featured nonprofit, I guess you could say, for the week. You can check them out at fernsop.org. And like I said earlier, the Furniture Society is really special to me because they have really kept their ear to the ground and trying to hear what the community really has to say. And I've seen that feedback come to fruition. I've had I regularly pitch ideas and they come to fruition. Being the programming chair and getting to have some input on the different types of programming and the different type of presentations that we have is just, it's incredibly powerful. And to me, it's really where the rubber meets the road as far as advocacy goes. Our board is all volunteer. That's another thing. We're all volunteering our time. And, we're very fortunate to have a really powerful staff in Monica and Pam and the rest of our team. So it really does have a strong community vibe. I know a lot of people kind of are unsure about memberships, and especially when you're a new student or you're a maker and you have a, just a tight budget in general, it's kind of like, how do I justify this? And for me, it's just been tremendous. The network that I've grown, what I've been able to do, speaking with each of those makers, one of them had a scholarship, one of them had been a longtime member. There's just so many different ways that they have fed into the community, and as the Furniture Society has given to them, they've also given back, and that's really what it takes. And that's what I love about woodworking, is the communal spirit. Not everyone wants to share their trade secrets, but woodworkers in large, I feel like, want to share, want to connect, want to talk about wood. Yes, we're all in our wood shops and studios and we're by ourselves a lot. It's a very isolated craft. So when we get together, it's really exciting, and it's wonderful to see what we can talk about and come up with. And the Furniture Society with their conferences really provide a wonderful opportunity to do that. It's just so inspiring. I went to the last one in New Orleans, and we were watching, Slide Wars, which is the highlight of the conference. People submit 3 to 5 images, and you have to bam, 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 talk about them, and then it goes on to the next artist. But everyone gets to see a pretty diverse array of work, provide feedback, and just to have that kind of peer-to-peer, I don't want to say critique, but it is. It's a casual critique opportunity. It's super fun, but it was super inspiring to see, like, up front, the students and the people that were relatively new to the Furniture Society community and were about to graduate or get their masters, and just the great conceptual work that they had and how inspiring it was. And then to see mid-career makers, and then kind of the old guard, the founders of the organization, all in the same room together, all enjoying different work, creativity. And the Furniture Society is so much more than furniture making. It is more than woodworking. It is home decor. It is education. There are so many facets to the furniture making community beyond just strictly design and crafting. So it's been incredible, very inspiring. So you should definitely check out the Furniture Society. I know that we'll have some programming coming up this fall, but we're in the midst of our big conference right now this week, and I just want to wish them good luck. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure. So some other things that I have going on in my advocacy work, actually right now, today, is the ACIP meeting, and they are discussing different vaccine schedules, and especially pediatric vaccine schedules. And literally they're having the meeting today and tomorrow with the new panel that completely were given, these new positions. All 17 former members were asked to leave, and these are new members. So it'll be really interesting to see what the outcome is of this. But I saw a interesting post on Threads that I wanted to mention from a doctor, Ace Durrani, saying, "Doctor here, the American Academy of Pediatrics just said it will continue to recommend its own childhood vaccine schedule, regardless of what RFK Jr.'s ACIP recommends." So it is good to know. And I look at the people that are speaking at the ACIP meeting. I trust their credentials. I trust the research that they've done. Having worked with some of these organizations myself, I know how passionate some of these people are. And it's a really scary time, I know, but it's also a time that we have to, this is, again, like when the work it means the most. And protecting our children and the most vulnerable, it's the most important thing that we can do. Having survived bacterial meningitis and having met other families that have been devastated by it, lost family members, lost their children, lost their siblings, lost nieces and nephews, grandchildren. It's just a disease that you don't want anyone to have. And it breaks my heart that it's something that specifically targets children. It's so cruel. And I feel like anything that we can do to save one family from that is worth doing. So that's what I'm really focusing on right now with my meningitis advocacy and getting ready for the Fall World Meningitis Day. That's October 5th. So just trying to keep an eye on how things are going and things are developing. I know a lot of us are, but yeah, so let's turn it on to a lighter note. What am I enjoying this week? So I've got to say, Mama Duke on America's Got Talent. That song, Feels So Good, it's instant hit. It's just, it just makes you feel good as soon as you put it on. You have to move. It's very joyful. And I just love seeing someone be their authentic self, put their best out there, and have the world just be like, yes. Like everything, to her sweater, to how she was presenting herself and just her confidence. It was amazing. So I'm a huge Mama Duke fan now. Consider me that. And I can't wait to see what she does next. And I just hope that we continue to see more of her talents. She is obviously a fantastic songwriter, really great rapper, beautiful singer. So I hope we get to see a lot more from her. But if you haven't seen that clip, go to America's Got Talent, or you're missing out. You've got to, type in Mama Duke, and ooh, it feels so good to be you. So good, so good, so good. So other things that I am enjoying this week, I am listening to quite a few audiobooks right now, which is kind of a struggle because I'm not actually finishing anything. I'm just like bouncing back and forth. So I still have not finished Trials of the Jedi, but I will say, like, it is already probably my favorite Star Wars novel. Definitely out of the High Republic series. Oh, that's hard to say because I really love The Fallen Star. But it's just, I'm only a few hours in, and it's already it's been transformational. And I'm sure that emotionally, I'm not done being tortured. That is one thing about a High Republic book, is you can guarantee there's going to be some trauma. There's going to be something going on. So, but so far, I really, really love it. And another book that I'm listening to right now, actually with my kids for their summer reading, is A Wrinkle in Time. And I wanted to read that for a long time. So I'll admit, I kind of was like, hey guys, this is what we're going to listen to. But again, that science fiction and kind of the eternal battle between good and evil, it has all of us like sitting on the edge of our seat, like listening to chapter after chapter. It's been really great. So I highly recommend it if you have, a 3rd, 4th, 5th grade reader that is into Star Wars, into fantasy type stuff like that. It's a pretty easy read. And I need to figure out how to become a glimmer witch. Because like, if I could just be like an essence of glitter, that sounds pretty ideal to me. So listening to that. Television wise, right now I am watching, I think season 4 of Clone Wars. And I'm doing a pretty thorough rewatch. I'm going to have to do another rewatch because I've already missed some. But I'm enjoying this series so much more now that I know more about the Star Wars universe. That Clone Wars was a hard series to watch, kind of cold, to not really know about Cody and Rex and the backstory there. And, that was I've heard people say that, that was their first impression of Ahsoka, and they found her kind of annoying. And like, if you think about it, she was a young child. Like, that was part of her character arc. So I think getting to see how some of those characters progressed really helped me when I went back and was like, okay, like I can make these connections. It was just really hard for me to follow cold off the top. It wasn't as easy for me to follow as like Rebels or some of the other animated stuff from them. But so that's what I've been watching. And as I mentioned earlier, I've been really focused on some American history documentaries. So I live in South Carolina. There is a ton of history around here. I've always been a really big history buff, and also just being this time of year, I watch a lot of stuff about like the Battle of Gettysburg and things like that. Also ties in some of my like intuitiveness work. But I've just been really watching again, like some really in-depth YouTube documentaries on the different battles and different relics. There was a great one on Civil War photography that I watched. And this might seem like an obvious tip, but as someone who has pretty frequent days where, I'm physically down, like I'm having to work from bed or work from the couch or whatever, or I'm just not feeling it. Watching these types of documentaries makes me feel like I'm still doing something, if that makes sense. It's like I'm interested in it. I feel like I'm learning something. And I also feel like I'm changing perceptions on things that I've already learned. So it just felt really fulfilling, and I felt like it was a really obvious but great tip. So if you're someone like me who's chronically ill and is in bed a lot, YouTube, hey, I'm so old and late to the game, but it's really helped me through a lot of kind of those like quiet times or those hours that I'm just like, all right, I need to rest a little bit, but I don't want to completely crash out. Another thing that I saw this week that I absolutely loved, if you're a Broadway fan, I know I'm super late on this again, but Frozen on Broadway is on Disney Plus, and I have never seen a set as beautiful and complex. I believe that was the West End, the London performance. I think that's where they filmed it. It was just, even on television, I can't imagine what it's like to witness in person. So even if you're not a big Broadway fan and you're just into like special effects and sets and stuff like that, what they're able to accomplish is like, whew, I mean, fantastic. So I really enjoyed that. I'm also a little bit of a gamer. I haven't been able to play Dreamlight Valley as much as I like. I do enjoy that game. I've been playing a lot of like Merge mobile games just to kind of like quickly tune out on my phone. I'm also a big Stardew Valley fan, and getting ready to start year 10. So that's where I am on games. I don't know if I'll do some gaming lives or not. We'll see. Let's see what folks are into. I'm also really bad, like I just get on these games and I'm like, I'm just going to farm, and not really do anything interesting or not finish this quest or whatever. I'll get to it later. But I really like these games just to kind of, tune out and just relax. If the kids are watching something, it's something that I can like easily focus on while keeping an eye on what's going on, the boxing match next door. So yeah, and as I've mentioned, I'm a little bit of an intuitive. I really enjoy reading about history, but also ghost stories and paranormal experiences and things like that. I do follow astrology, and like I said, I don't identify, I guess, as like a psychic, but I've always been able to, I guess, see and feel things that other people can't, because I'll be like, what, did you see that? And people are looking at me like I'm nuts. And I can't, deny the feeling of whatever happened, gave me or whatever it is. And just over the years, I've gotten to work with some other intuitives that have really helped validate some of those experiences. And if you are looking for a community of kind of like-minded folks like that, Denise Correll, she is one part of the Enlightened Empath podcast. She has been a phenomenal guide in this process for me, and she has had some mentorship groups over the years, which I haven't been able to be a part of, but she is launching a Tap Into the Collective subscription where everyone can, you sign up for a subscription, you get 2 monthly meetings, and I think there's like emails and different, all of her classes are free. It's just a way to network with other people that are intuitive or may have some other things they want to explore or just curious. I'll be honest, living in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina, there are not a lot of people that I can talk to about this. So if you're just seeing me on the internet talk about this, hi, yes. So I feel like a community like that will be really beneficial for me. And so I just wanted to share it with y'all in case that was something else that you could be interested in. I am just feeling the vibes today, happy new moon in Cancer. This has been such a transformative week. Yesterday I had the Jupiter Cazimi. So really planting a lot of seeds, launching a live stream, and just trying to keep growing community and keep growing the love and the light that I feel within. I feel like I have been quiet for far too long about my spiritual relationship with God, and I'm just really excited to be able to share this part of me with some folks that want to. So if you're okay, I would like to draw a card for the collective. I love working with oracle cards. I have worked with tarot, but am not as well versed in tarot as I would like to be. And as an intuitive, you just connect with what you connect with. So this set of cards was given to me by a friend, and I am someone that has a very deep belief in the moon and our relationship with it as humans. It, it dictates our tides. Like, how can we not be affected by it as people? It literally controls the majority of our earth. So I just have always had a really special connection with the moon. So this is the Moonology deck, Oracle deck. This is by Yasmin Boland. So I'm just going to draw a card and see what comes up. Terrible at shuffling. Tremors don't help. All right, I'm just going to pick one. All right. Full moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. So let's see what the guidebook has to say about that. It's time to see if you've been a little too much me. Yes. Being assertive is good. Just don't ride roughshod over anyone. If you're in a tense situation, meditate your way to peace. I think it's just a good card to reflect on, have you been moving too fast? Have you been too brash? Have you been too harsh? Have you not been sensitive enough? Watch out for that. So hopefully this resonates with you. I hope you take what does resonate and leave the rest. So yeah, awesome. This has been a great first live. I have no idea if people have left comments or anything yet. I'm still trying to figure out this software, but just yapping to myself here. It's great. So coming up, I believe my next live will be next Wednesday. That's July 2nd. Oh my gosh. July 2nd at 6 p.m. right here. Hopefully this space will be a little bit more transformed. I'll have more than just a blank pink wall behind me, although it is very pretty. I'm so happy about it. And hopefully more to share on that progress there with you, and some updates just on what's going on. Like I said, July is Disability Pride Month. So I've got some unique ideas, also some events happening in Charleston that I'm going to want to share with you. Google Disability Pride Charleston or Disability Pride SC if you want to go ahead and get the jump on that. But you can always follow me on my website at ktthompson.com. My studio store is blackswamp.co. You can find me on my socials at electric_Katie. If you'd like to follow the Women of Woodworking Project, you can find that at Women of Woodworking on Instagram and also on my website. And I think that's all the places you can find me for now. Hoping to consolidate some of that, but it really is a joy to have all these platforms and projects come together into what I hope will be a great live stream series. And I'm just so grateful for the community that I've been able to build. And I know a lot of people probably think I'm crazy putting myself out here like this, but I'm not going to become a radio DJ if I don't. Gotta make little Katie happy. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a great week.